She left me for her rich boss 3 years later. She came back. My response shocked her. 3 years ago, my wife looked me in the eyes and said 5 words that shattered my world. I need more luxury, David. Then she walked out our door and straight into her boss's Maserati. Last night, at 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was her, on Instagram. And the message that popped up on my screen? It made me smile for the first time in a way I never thought possible. But not for the reasons you might think. Stay with me, because this story is about the most unexpected revenge served by life itself. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into this incredible true story, if you're new here, this channel is all about real-life experiences, lessons learned the hard way, and stories that prove karma doesn't need your help to do its job. If you enjoy content like this, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story. And trust me, you're going to want to hear how this one ends. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. My name is David, and this is the story of how my wife's betrayal became the greatest gift I never asked for. 5 years ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I was married to Jessica, my college sweetheart. We'd been together for 8 years total, married for 4. We had a modest 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, 2 cars that were paid off, and what I genuinely believed was a happy marriage built on trust and shared dreams. I worked as a senior software developer at a mid-sized tech company. The pay was good, solid 6 figures, but nothing extravagant. We could afford nice vacations once or twice a year, ate out at decent restaurants, and never really worried about bills. But we weren't living in a mansion. We weren't driving luxury sports cars. We were comfortable. Or at least, I thought comfortable was enough. Jessica worked as an executive assistant at a corporate investment firm downtown. She was smart, ambitious, and always dressed impeccably for work. I was proud of her. She'd talk about her day, about the deals her boss Marcus was closing, about the multi-million-dollar accounts, the luxury client dinners at 5-star restaurants, the private jets some clients would charter. I'd listen, smile, and think nothing of it. After all, that was her work world, not ours. Or so I believed. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way her eyes would light up when she talked about Marcus's latest purchase. A yacht, a penthouse in the city, designer watches that cost more than our monthly mortgage. The way she started comparing our life to what she saw at work. Little comments here and there. Wouldn't it be nice to have a house like this? While scrolling through luxury real estate on her phone. I wish we could travel business class just once. I'd laugh it off, remind her we were doing well, that we had everything we needed. I'd plan surprises, romantic dinners at nice restaurants, weekend getaways to charming bed and breakfasts. But somewhere along the way, nice stopped being enough. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being enough. The change happened gradually, then all at once. Jessica started working late more often. She'd come home at 9, 10, sometimes 11 at night, smelling of expensive cologne that definitely wasn't mine. She was distant, always on her phone, smiling at messages she'd never show me. When I'd ask about her day, her answers became shorter, more dismissive. The warmth we'd shared for years started evaporating like morning dew under a harsh sun. I tried everything. I planned date nights. I asked her what was wrong, if I'd done something to upset her. I suggested couples therapy. She'd brush me off every time, saying she was just stressed with work, that I was being paranoid, that everything was fine. But everything wasn't fine. I could feel her slipping away, and I was powerless to stop it. Then came the night that changed everything. It was a Tuesday evening in October. I remember because the autumn leaves were just starting to turn, and I'd planned to take her to this scenic overlook she used to love. I came home early from work, excited to surprise her. But the surprise was on me. I walked into our bedroom and found her packing a suitcase. Not a small one for a business trip, a large one. A kind you pack when you're not coming back. My heart dropped into my stomach. Jessica? What's going on? Where are you going? She didn't even look up from her packing. Didn't pause. Just kept folding her designer clothes. The ones I'd noticed had gotten a lot more expensive over the past few months. I'm leaving, David, she said, her voice flat, emotionless, like she was reading from a script she'd rehearsed 100 times. Leaving? What do you mean, leaving? Talk to me. Whatever's wrong, we can fix it. I was pleading now, my voice cracking, reaching for her hand. She pulled away like my touch burned her. That's when she finally looked at me. And the coldness in her eyes, the complete absence of the love that used to be there, that hurt more than any words could. I'm leaving you for Marcus, she said simply. I need more, David, more than this. More than you can give me. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Marcus, her boss. The man she'd been talking about for months. The man whose lifestyle she'd been coveting. It all clicked into place. All those late nights, all those secretive phone calls, all the distance. You're having an affair, I said, not as a question, but as a statement of the obvious truth I'd been too blind to see. She shrugged, actually shrugged, like she was discussing the weather, not the destruction of 8 years together. Marcus can give me the life I deserve. He has a penthouse in the city, a vacation home in the Hamptons, a yacht. He takes me to Paris, Milan, Monaco. When I'm with him, I feel alive. I feel like I'm finally living the life I was meant to live. What about our life? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. What about the promises we made? What about love? And then she said it, the words I'll never forget as long as I live. I need more luxury, David. You're a good man, but you're just ... ordinary, and I want extraordinary. She zipped up her suitcase, called an Uber, and walked out of our house, out of our marriage, out of my life, without looking back. I stood there in our bedroom, surrounded by the life we'd built together, feeling like the floor had been ripped out from under me. Everything I thought was real, everything I believed in, gone in a matter of minutes. That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I just sat on our couch, replaying every moment, wondering what I could have done differently, how I'd failed so completely. The next few months were the darkest of my life. The divorce was quick and cold. Jessica didn't want anything from our shared life. She was already living in Marcus's penthouse, already wearing designer everything, already posting photos on social media from exotic locations I couldn't even pronounce. She wanted out fast, and honestly, so did I. Every day married to her felt like a reminder of how worthless she'd made me feel. My friends rallied around me. My family was supportive. Everyone told me the same thing. She wasn't worth it. I deserved better. Time would heal. But when you're in the depths of that kind of pain, when the person you trusted most in the world has betrayed you in the most fundamental way, those words feel hollow. They feel like empty platitudes that do nothing to fill the void inside you. I threw myself into work, took on extra projects, stayed at the office until midnight, not because I had to, but because going home to our empty house, now just my empty house, was too painful. I'd see her wedding ring impression still on the nightstand where she'd left it. I'd smell her perfume on the pillows I couldn't bring myself to wash. I was a ghost haunting my own life. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It's solid ground. And once you've hit it, the only direction left is up. About 6 months after Jessica left, my best friend Jake practically dragged me out of my house. Dude, you need to start living again, he said, throwing a jacket at me. You're coming to this networking event with me, and I'm not taking no for an answer. I didn't want to go. I wanted to sit at home, order takeout, and binge-watch shows I wouldn't remember. But Jake was persistent, and honestly, I was tired of my own misery. So I went. That networking event changed my life. Not because I met someone there, though. But because talking to successful entrepreneurs, hearing their stories of failure and comeback, something shifted in me. One guy told me about how he'd lost everything in a bad business deal, his marriage included, and rebuilt from scratch. "The thing is," he said, "sometimes life strips away everything you think defines you, so you can discover who you actually are." Those words hit me like lightning. Who was I without Jessica? Who was I when I wasn't trying to be enough for someone who would never think I was enough? I didn't know. But I wanted to find out. I started therapy. Real therapy, not just venting to friends over beer. I worked through the betrayal, the feelings of inadequacy, the anger and grief. My therapist helped me see that Jessica's choices weren't a reflection of my worth. They were a reflection of her values, values that I actually didn't share. I'd never wanted a yacht or a penthouse. I'd wanted a partner, a teammate, someone to build a meaningful life with. Jessica wanted status symbols and luxury brands. We'd simply grown into incompatible people, and she'd just been more ruthless about pursuing what she wanted. I started going to the gym, not to get revenge body, though that ended up being a nice side effect, but because I needed an outlet for all the emotion I was processing. I started hiking again, something I'd loved in college but had abandoned over the years. I reconnected with old friends, made new ones, joined a recreational soccer league, started learning to cook properly instead of just reheating leftovers. And slowly, month by month, I started feeling like myself again. Actually, better than myself. I started feeling like a version of me that I actually liked. A version that wasn't defined by someone else's expectations or value system. At work, my renewed focus paid off. I got a promotion to lead developer, then another to engineering manager. My salary increased substantially. I bought a new car, not a Maserati, just a reliable car that I actually liked. I moved out of the house that held too many painful memories and into a nice condo with a view of the city skyline. I traveled, not to Monaco or Milan, but to places I actually wanted to see. Iceland, New Zealand, Japan. I hiked glaciers, soaked in hot springs, ate incredible food, and did it all on my own terms. And I was happy. Genuinely happy. Not the desperate, trying to prove something kind of happiness, but the quiet, content, this is my life, and I love it kind of happiness. About 2 years after the divorce, I met Emma. We matched on a dating app, both of us a bit hesitant about the whole online dating thing, both coming out of difficult previous relationships. Our first date was supposed to be coffee for an hour. We ended up talking for 5 hours, closing down the coffee shop, walking through the park, grabbing dinner, and making plans for a second date before the first one was even over. Emma was different from Jessica in every way that mattered. She was a high school teacher, passionate about her students, about making a difference in young people's lives. She drove a modest car, lived in a cozy apartment filled with books and plants, and thought the perfect weekend was hiking followed by making homemade pizza and watching movies. She was kind, genuine, had an incredible laugh, and made me feel seen in a way I'd forgotten was possible. With Emma, I never felt like I had to be more than I was. She loved that I was a bit of a nerd about technology. She thought it was charming that I could spend hours debugging code or talking about the latest software innovations. She appreciated that I valued experiences over possessions, that I'd rather take a road trip to a national park than stay at a 5-star resort. We were compatible on a fundamental level in our values, our goals, our vision for what a good life looked like. 6 months into dating Emma, I realized something profound. I wasn't just over Jessica. I was grateful to Jessica. Grateful that she'd left, because if she hadn't, I never would have found Emma. I never would have discovered this version of myself that I actually respected. Jessica leaving was the best thing that ever happened to me, even though it was the most painful thing I'd ever gone through. And then, 3 years after Jessica had walked out, last night happened. I was at Emma's apartment. We were cooking dinner together, laughing about something silly that happened at her school, listening to music, just enjoying a quiet Thursday evening. Emma was telling me about this student who'd finally had a breakthrough in understanding algebra, and the pure joy on her face as she talked about it. That's what real wealth looked like to me. Someone who loved their work, who made a difference, who found happiness in small, meaningful moments. My phone buzzed. I almost ignored it. But Emma was checking on the pasta, so I glanced at the screen. Instagram notification. A direct message from Jessica Martinez. Except her last name wasn't Martinez anymore. It was Thornton, Marcus's last name. My heart did this weird skip, not because I had feelings for her, but because I hadn't heard from her in 3 years. Radio silence. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a message. I opened it, more out of curiosity than anything else. The first message said, "Hey, David, I know it's been a long time. I hope you're doing well." Then another bubble appeared. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately. About us, about what we had." Another, "I made a mistake, David, a huge mistake." And another, "Marcus isn't who I thought he was. Yes, he has money. Yes, we have luxury. But David, there's so much money, but I'm not happy. I'm miserable. Then, he's cheating on me. Has been for a while. With his other assistant. Maybe others. I don't even know anymore. I feel so stupid. And finally, I still love you, David. I never stopped loving you. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve it. But is there any chance? Any chance at all that we could talk? That maybe we could try again?" I stared at my phone, reading and rereading the messages. Emma walked over, saw the look on my face. "Everything okay?" she asked, concern in her voice. I showed her the messages. I'd told Emma everything about Jessica early in our relationship, believing that honesty was the foundation of anything real. She read them, her eyebrows going up with each message, and then looked at me. "Wow," she said. "That's wow. How do you feel?" How did I feel? That was the question, wasn't it? 3 years ago, if Jessica had sent these messages, I would have been torn apart. Part of me would have wanted to take her back, would have remembered the good times, would have been tempted to try again. I would have felt vindicated that she realized her mistake, that she was admitting I was enough after all. But sitting there in Emma's kitchen, the smell of homemade marinara sauce in the air, looking at this woman who loved me for exactly who I was, I felt nothing for Jessica. No anger, no pain. Not even satisfaction at her karma catching up with her. Just a sort of distant pity, the kind you feel for a stranger who made bad choices and is now dealing with the consequences. I feel like I should respond, I told Emma. Not because I want her back, but because I need to close this chapter properly. I need to be clear. Emma nodded, squeezed my hand. "Whatever you need to do, I support you." I typed out my response, deleted it, started again. Finally, I settled on something that felt right. "Jessica, I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm sorry you're going through a difficult time, but I've moved on. I'm with someone now, someone who values the same things I do, someone who makes me truly happy. You made your bed 3 years ago, and now you have to lie in it. I wish you well, but there's no going back. Take care of yourself," I hit send. And then I blocked her. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need that door left open. I didn't need the temptation or the drama, or the possibility of her reaching out again. That chapter of my life was closed, locked, and archived. Emma hugged me, and we finished making dinner. We ate pasta, drank wine, talked about our upcoming weekend plans. Normal, beautiful, everyday moments that made up a life I loved. Later that night, as Emma was falling asleep next to me, her head on my chest, I realized something. Jessica wanted luxury. She wanted the penthouse, the yacht, the designer everything, the Instagram-worthy lifestyle that looked perfect from the outside. And she got it, all of it, exactly what she asked for. But in chasing luxury, she'd lost something infinitely more valuable. She'd lost authenticity. She'd lost genuine connection. She'd lost the ability to be happy with what actually matters. The small, real, meaningful moments that don't photograph well, but feel like home. I didn't have a yacht. I didn't have a penthouse. I had a nice condo, a good job, a reliable car, and a woman who loved me for who I actually was, not for what I could provide or what status I could give her. I had friends I could call at 3 a.m. I had work that challenged and fulfilled me. I had weekends spent hiking trails and cooking meals and laughing until my stomach hurt. I had peace. I had contentment. I had real, genuine happiness. Jessica got exactly what she chased, and it made her miserable. I let go of what she thought mattered and found everything that actually did. The real kicker? I genuinely hope she figures it out. I hope she leaves Marcus. I hope she does the work to discover what actually makes her happy. I hope she finds peace. Not because I have feelings for her, but because I understand now that hurt people, and healed people help people heal. She was clearly hurting, clearly searching for something external to fill an internal void, and no amount of luxury was ever going to do that. As for me, I found someone exactly like me, someone who valued the same things, who wanted the same kind of life, who understood that wealth isn't about what you own, but about how you feel when you wake up in the morning. Emma wasn't my consolation prize. She wasn't my rebound. She was the right person I never would have been ready for if Jessica hadn't left. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you turns out to be the best thing that could have happened. Sometimes the person who breaks your heart is actually freeing you to find the person who will treasure it. Sometimes losing everything shows you what actually matters. 3 years ago, Jessica told me I was ordinary. She was right. I am ordinary. I'm an ordinary guy with an ordinary job living an ordinary life. But I've learned that ordinary can be extraordinary when you're living it with the right person, when you're true to your own values, when you stop chasing someone else's definition of success and start building your own. So when Jessica's message popped up on my screen, asking if there was a chance, my answer was simple. No, because I don't want a chance with who she is. I want exactly what I have with who Emma is. And that smile that crossed my face when I read her messages, it wasn't schadenfreude. It wasn't revenge or satisfaction. It was the smile of someone who finally, completely, understood that he dodged a bullet 3 years ago and walked straight into the life he was always meant to live. If you're going through a betrayal right now, if someone has left you feeling like you're not enough, hear me when I say this. You are enough. You've always been enough. For the right person, you're more than enough. And sometimes the person who leaves you is making room for the person who will stay. Jessica got her luxury. I got my life. And honestly, I wouldn't trade places with her for anything in the world. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Drop a comment below about your own experiences with betrayal and moving on. I'd love to hear your stories. And remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well. It's finding your own happiness. It's building a life you don't need to escape from. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember that your worth isn't determined by someone else's inability to see it. Peace.